Good afternoon. My name is Lizette Sanchez, and today we are going to be exploring the website that I created as my final project for LI 843J. So, one of the things that was really important to me when going into this final was as a teacher, specifically like a history teacher, there's often a lot of subjects and a lot of time range that we go through. There's so many eras, especially in my Hispanic American Studies class. We go from pre-Columbian America to the Chicano movement, or even to as close as present day that we can get. This is a very big issue when it comes to organization and structure. Um, as a teacher, it's always an obstacle on how to present your units or semester material to your students in a way that they are going to be able to um, find everything easily and have access to everything, especially when they are absent. Of course, things happen that lead to absences, as well as just there's sometimes even school activities such as sports that take them away from time in the classroom. And Canvas and Google Classroom are great tools, but they are sometimes lacking some of the more like detailed instruction that I can give my students. And so, in order to try to combat this issue, I wanted to create this website going over the course materials and everything we do in the classroom so that my students have this kind of step and guide even when they're absent, or even if they are present, if they fall behind. Um, for me, organization and kind of like having everything there at the tip of their fingers has been a big issue. This is my fourth year teaching, and this is just something I really wanted to combat. And I thought creating a website was going to be very helpful with this. Um, my big goals with this website that I wanted to accomplish was that I wanted it to be accessible to everybody, that everyone would be easy, like find it easy to use. And I also wanted it to have a good graphic design that doesn't isn't unappealing when people come to the website. So here is the website. This is the home page. You have the side menu bar over here that says this is Hispanic American Studies. It has my tiny little logo. You'd have to like really zoom in to view it, but it says my name, the course, and a little butterfly. But this is also a banner right here saying "Welcome to Hispanic American Studies." It has my name at the top, and it does have my school name that I work at right now, along with kind of some bookshelves, trying to give it again like an appealing visual, trying to invite students in as they want to look through this website and spend time on it throughout the semester. When you go down, uh, it does say this website will be your guide to Hispanic American Studies all semester. It has copies of everything you'll need for class as well as instructions. I also have a picture of a notebook because interactive notebooks are a very huge part of my classroom. We use our interactive notebook every day. It is where students write their notes. It's also where students do their assignments most of the time. Of course, it's not just the only place where they will do their assignments. We do have packets or projects that we do, but the bulk of our daily work is in the notebook. So I give this explanation. Why do we use interactive notebooks in the classroom? While using notebooks may seem outdated, there are significant benefits to using notebooks, such as handwriting those notes help with your brain's retention. And this is something that is proven by fact. You have to hear something 5 to 7 times in order for it to stick. One big thing that my school's been working on this year has been vocab and reminding students of how important this vocab is and not just going over it once and that's it. Like you go over it multiple times with them. And so I think the notebooks are a great way to like have that kind of guide for them. Below I have some notebook guides from them, like or notebook tips, like just saying like, oh, use both sides of your notebook pages, just don't just put it on one page, don't skip any pages. Keep up. So again, if you're gone, look here. And then make it yours. Design your notebook cover, and add any personal touches such as stickers, or I give them little notebook covers like the one featured here. That one's my notebook cover. Um, has my name even on it and has like little things that we colored. We also have this, since it's the home page, it has the introduction. So again, has that cover page on there, as well as I have their front first page always have a little design. Mine's a Hello Kitty, and 'cause I love Hello Kitty, it has the course title and my name, and it says the teacher's copy, the hours I teach, and I have them write whatever hour they have me. Okay, then we go over the syllabus, and I did attach the syllabus from my Google Drive. So students could even click on it if they were wanting to view the full thing. They do have paper copies as well, and it kind of tells them how you can reach me, my classroom number, and the class expectations, right? No phones, plagiarism, and so on, as well as with their grading scale. So students could say see the expectations there whenever. Okay, following the homepage, there is also the first unit page. So again, I have a banner here titling this is the Unit 1 Pre-Columbian Americas. This is supposed to distinguish it from the other pages. I have again this cover page here, like PDF attached. It's from my Google Drive. Um, and I have text, okay? So I have it numbered off one by however many there is in the unit to show students, okay, this is what we're first looking at. This is what the first thing that's going to go into your notebook. And so the first thing that's going to go into their notebooks is the cover page, which they're going to be gluing in there. And then there's the vocab here for that pre-Columbian eras unit. It has also a PDF copy of what they'll be filling out. So their graphic organizer, where we have the vocab word, their own definition, the word in a sentence, and the image. And then I have a PDF copy as well of the vocab we went over in class with the vocab word, the definition, and an image. Because to give them an example, because some of these students haven't heard about the Aztecs and Mayans since they were in middle school. And this is an intergrade class. So it's not designed for just one grade level. I have sophomores, juniors, and seniors in this grade, in this class. So some students may have been seniors and not heard of this since they were sixth graders. And then again, it just goes over. I have the notes that we also do. So, and I give them the instructions. So this is important that it says, like, in case they're absent, you're going to label in color to identify where the different Colombian civilizations are located, to add the color. And then what they would do is they would look at these slides. So they would kind of open them up and go through them. So it gives them a step-by-step instructions. Um, along with the vocab. Since these are those slides I instruct with, we did go over a timeline, and these are the notes that they'd write down. Is everything that's underlined, they would write down in their notes. They also, I do always tell them, like, if there's something that you think you need to follow along or like you need to write down to remember, like, go ahead. Like, I just do this to try to scaffold them, but they are open to writing as much or as little as they would like. It's really up to them. Um, so my design development was really just I was trying to make it somewhere where it was easy for them to follow along. Okay. Because again, like I said, I have sophomores from seniors in this class. So I wanted someone that's 15 to be able to get onto this website and be able to be like, okay, all right, what module are we on? Oh, okay, we're on Unit 1. Okay, because sometimes with Canvas, they get confused with the module title instead for some reason. So this kind of just like, and like they struggling with go scrolling all the way down. So I wanted it to be not just this like continuous scroll like Canvas is. It's instead like, oh, it's separate. Like, oh, okay. So I don't like once we're done with the pre-Columbians till we're on the final again. I don't have to look at that for them. So my whole big design was with that. But one thing I did struggle with designing this was the banners. I did design my banners like this one of the Unit 2 Colonial Era on Canva and trying to figure out the size for that would fit and for this Google site was a bit difficult for me, but I obviously did get into finding it. it wasn't like, because when I was doing the regular banner, it was like, oh my gosh, this is too small. Like this isn't fitting, but the large banner was perfect. Um, but relatively it was not that difficult to figure out. I do end up finding some difficulties that I will talk about later, but I want to continue showing this. So my colonial era is kind of very much the same as my first unit with having my cover page and my vocab. That is always how we start off our units. Never does anything change with that. That's just how things are with me, and I want it to be very uniform and kind of like there is some structure. And there is something that like, okay, every time we work on a unit, this is what we're doing. We're always looking at this and that. And then I have a map as well. So this is the New World map to show them like, hey, this is where the Spanish began and this is where they ended up and this is where they wanted to go. Because again, some of them it's been a while. And it's obviously something that most of them know, but just in case. And then our Age of Exploration notes, again, they can open up the browser, the slides, and see where else. Uh, Unit 3, again, every unit kind of starts off the same for them. Got their cover page and their vocab and this Latin American map. One thing that was different for this unit and that I was trying to figure out, it took me a little while, this is what I was going to say, was embedding the video. Because I've never embedded a video in a website. This is the first, this is not the first website I've created, but this is one I spent a little more time on. So my students would have come here and they could watch if they were absent. We did watch it together in class, but if they're gone, they would come here and watch
This is British
the embedded
explorer
video.
Percy Fawcett. He was last.
So the video was over the lost cities of the Amazon, and they can again watch it if they fall behind in class or they just need to answer one of these questions that they maybe didn't hear. They can go back and rewind it and watch the video on their own. Again, more slides that we looked at and notes here. Well, it's not just notes, it's also an assignment. I have both integrated in there with questions that they would answer about the Spanish caste system. This is a image that they would analyze. So they would look at this picture here. They can always zoom in if they would like. And they were going to use this optic analysis to analyze the Casa paintings. And then we had a Simon Bolivar comic that they ended up going through the comic and answering the questions. They read through it and they ended up kind of doing a project afterwards of this, of the Latin American independence movements. Okay, so then Unit 4 is the Mexican-American War. So like I said, it really follows and it shows them like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So first unit, Unit 1. Second, Unit 2. So that way they know what to look for. And then here we have again, cover, vocab. They've got some of the Monroe Doctrine. They have another optic analysis. So here, this was a textbook page they looked at, so I wasn't able to actually put the textbook page they looked at. I might integrate later on the actual like an image, like maybe I'll take a picture and integrate it, but for now I did just say like, oh, go to page 34 and look at that to complete the optic analysis. Texas Revolution. Again, this is some of the slides we looked at for their notes. And then we watched this video. They answered these questions over the Texas Revolution. And here is a packet they did and the claim evidence reason. So that's not something that goes in their notebook, but it's something we did in class. And then we looked at the border issues that started the Mexican-American War and kind of compared it to today to see like, is there any similarities now? Is there something like how will we keep talking about the border in the 1800s and now in 2025? So they did end up doing this comparison chart and they have their Spanish-American War notes here as well as this was a Google form that they did. So they could open this up and they would hit record their name. They would have put their name on there and analyze the image. Okay, so this is what is he doing? They'd answer the questions and then they would hit submit. And it's something that's easily linked because, again, this semester I did not have this website created. I'm excited to use this next semester in my classroom now that I this final gave me the opportunity to actually carve out the time to make the website. Because this semester was like when I would tell them like, oh, go find the Google form, they're like, oh my God, where is it? Like I can't find it. And so I feel like this could be easier because it's like I could just be like, hey, go on the website and look where it is. Okay, and this is the ease of immigration, their era of immigration that they are currently going to be working on still. But this is again goes over the cover, vocab, and it also has notes. So it says, like, I give them instructions, use the slides attached to the left to complete the vocab sheets. You will write down the vocab word in the middle oval in case they were gone, and the definition, an example. You also want to use the slides attached to write down notes over the Mexican Revolution. You want to write down the information you find the most crucial, but I have gone and underlined some real pieces of information. So formatting this one was a little difficult as I was formatting both a slides presentation along with vocab, but it was able to be figured out. But you can see again, these are the slides that they are able to go over. And then we've got their vocab words with examples of images and everything that they would need, and along with their notes over the Mexican Revolution that we went over. And then there's a video embedded along with a quick write that my students should have completed if they watched the video. So again, if they are absent, the video is embedded onto the website. And then again, another link. This is one for PBS videos. They would actually have to click the link to go to it, so they can't watch it like they can with YouTube. And then our Traqueros notes that we did. Again, I might just end up uploading a picture of the textbook page we looked at, but I did just put here, read through page 48. They should have their course readers with them if they are in the classroom, but that is maybe something I will add. Their I am poem, and then this Mexican repatriation, where they wrote notes over the Zimmerman telegram along with the vocabulary of the lesson. So with this, it was important for them to definitely look at these slides. There's also a video attached. So because I have embedded so many things into this particular one, I did have, again, some formatting issues. It did take me a while. And you can see here, there's my vocab because this is gone. We go kind of quickly here. Like we didn't go spend too much time talking about World War I since Mexico was fighting their own revolution. Instead, I'm like telling them, okay, like after World War I, all that Mexico's really involved is with the Zimmerman telegram. And there's a Great Depression though afterwards. And what is repatriation? Because this is a big word and this is what it is. And I have this Empire of Dreams. So it's this video I showed them. And then I have the example, like I have an example that we looked at and we did together along with their instructions. So these are a little more detailed instructions, but I did try to give instructions here as well below where it says number 7. But this one was a little difficult to embed because there is the slides, the video that they can go and look at as well right here over the Empire of Dreams, and they can just watch the video along with the documents that we did and we analyzed together, and they did them on their own as well. Unit 6 is a bit different from all the units. This is the last unit that my students will work on. So because of that, it's kind of more like, let's get this quote going, ball rolling because semester's about to end. And so I have the Chicano Revolution lecture with a lecture video actually uploaded of me going over what happened in the United States with Chicanos, with the Mexican American movement, and they will write notes over the information. So I have here, today we are going to be looking at the Chicano Revolution. We're going to be mostly focusing on the Chicano Revolution during the 1960s and 70s. So they can watch the video. Another thing is that there is the packet that they will be completing attached here. And this is also a simulation of virtual museum that they will visit. So the students would click on here. And this is another thing that I was like, struggling with figuring out like, oh, how do I embed my digital museum on here? And I was also having trouble even embedding my Canva slides. I ended up just doing the PDF instead because it was just something that was more simple to do. But then we have here, they would go to their this and they would hit play and they would be welcomes to them and they would travel through this museum that is created for them to visit. This guy kind of gives them like this is the famous artwork. And you can see here, these are famous like explanations that I gave them. I give them an introduction to who Cesar Chavez and Dolores Huerta are, since those are the faces of the Chicano movement. So they can go through again, then they can travel throughout the museum. It might take them a little while. And then it talks about the United Farm Workers. There's other people throughout the museum. This talks about Mendez versus Westminster and how it was really the first case in the United States history to rule on desegregation, forcing schools in Orange County to integrate in 1947. I also have about the Brown Beret Party here, information that they would look at, including in Kansas. So I always like to have relations to today with my students so that they know that things in Kansas happen as well. And then these are other ones that they would visit, the Delano Grapes. And then they also can click on these laptops to visit um, other sites as well. So this is stuff that I would have to give more instructions to. Like this is a video that I go over that they would watch from there and they would kind of like play it if they would watch the video. So they would kind of go and play it. So these are different features that are embedded into this. Again, they click on this image and I would have to give a little further instructions with this one. And I do show that in my video. So with that one, it is different from prior uh, units, as they will have to watch the video because I do explain towards this kind of tail end. I think I show kind of here the
day. So you're going to kind of make some connections to today on how we see these influences. So I'm going to take you to the virtual museum, right? You're going to make sure you hit play. So I already had hit it, but I can show you back. So you're going to hit play like this. And it's going to take you to the entrance, which is welcome to the Chicano Revolution Museum. Then with your mouse, you can kind of navigate. It gives you an introduction to what the Chicano Revolution is all about. Also, how it was known as El Movimiento as well. And if you kind of navigate here, you go forward. Here you go. Here you have those different artworks that you're going to answer those questions over. And I have different explanations as well for them. So you guys can always like kind of zoom in if you'd like, where it has the artist as well and the artwork's name so that they're
So those are instructions. So they would have to listen to this. And it does say like watch the video lecture for all your instructions and gives over here as well written. And as well as that they have to turn in the packet into their class hour bin. So this is my website. I really think again, like this is something that I was able to create, something that's accessible to all students and something that is going to be so useful for my classroom. And I'm so excited to be able to use this and integrate it into my future classes. It's something I'm looking forward to creating also for my US history classes. Because I do think this is just going to be such a great tool for them to have access to and be able to view everything. And so I think that this class did give me a really good opportunity to, again, kind of force me to have the time to, okay, now I actually had to make this website. And it's something that I am so glad was created because I can see this being something my students have benefit so greatly from, and that even I benefit so greatly from. But those were some of my difficulties that I had with it. Those are the artifacts that I created with this website. And this is really what the end result is of the website. So it is something that is fully functional that my students will be able to use and access as long as they can even search here. If they are not wanting to look through everything, they could, like, let's say like they want to just look at Mexican repatriation, they could just search that. They don't remember what unit it was over. They would look it up and it should take them to that unit, which I just, again, think it's great because sometimes students don't remember the unit numbers. But I have, again, so many skills that I feel like we're gained from this and that are going to be very helpful to my students. And I think that overall, it is going to ease everything and give them these visual examples and help them be more organized, as well as let me be more organized. And it really doesn't take up more time for me to update this. While as like with other things, I feel like I'm like, oh my gosh, I have no time to do this. I have no time to do all that. And this website, I'm like, oh, it's all here, and I can base it off and use it in other years. It's not just something that's only this semester, well, next semester will be used. It'll be useful for all future semesters in my classroom. Oh, yeah. Thank you for watching the video.